recover all loot. So it's on the basis of what you have put on your CV that I'm mounting my questions. So now, share with us. I know it was publicly announced that the respected Domlevo is a member of your committee. The respected Kofi Boachi is a member. And then Mr. Martin Pegu, a respected lawyer. Sometimes people may have their own disagreement with him, but he's also playing his role in our democracy, and I respect him for what he's doing for his country. We can't always agree. Now, tell us, in very clear terms, what the mandate of this aura has been.
Our mandate is exactly what Article 41F of the 1992 Constitution speaks of. And Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'll read Article 41F. Article 41F provides,
please do.
The exercise and enjoyment of rights and freedoms is inseparable from the performance of duties and obligations. And accordingly, it shall be the duty of every citizen, F, to protect and preserve public property and expose and combat misuse and waste of public funds and property, unquote. So our mandate is to really be patriotic citizens. And I'm so proud that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama found me worthy to chair this eminent committee, which has the eminent patriots you have listed. Our mandate is simply to serve as a vehicle of information gathering. We've put out hotlines, we've put out emails, we have a website, and we are receiving information, which we are compiling in a comprehensive document. We also carry out field visitations, because we don't want to be an armchair committee that just, puts together a report that we cannot verify, which we cannot validate, which is not credible. So we carry out field visits. We've been to a number of places across the country to be sure that the information that people are giving us are indeed accurate, so that we can present a credible, comprehensive report to His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. So that is what we have been doing, making sure that we prevent the looting, the misuse, the abuse of public property.
Now, you mentioned that earlier that people have been coming to your secretariat with information. So where is the secretariat?
The secretariat, which is really a makeshift secretariat, and we have to express our gratitude using this platform to Her Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jenopoku Ajiman. We share her office with her. She generously, because she also believes, so passionately in oral, in protecting looting and protecting public assets. She very graciously allowed us to use her office for this work. So that's the secretariat we are using.
You mean her office at Jubilee House?
No, her private office.
Where is this office?
In Cantonment.
Cantonment, okay.
Yes.
Now, this her private office in Cantonment, is it an office that because cantonment lands are state lands. So now, this is a private office in Cantonment. Is it an office that she owns or she has rented? Is it something that you know?
Honorable member, the question is overruled. The essence is that she is not the owner. The place was made available. The person who made the place available has been mentioned. How would he, the user, be able to know whether the place is owned or it was rented.
Mr. Chair.
Well, Chair, I can, Chair, if you don't mind, just make your work simple because I have information.
I'm very mindful.
I have information.
I mind.
It's rented. She doesn't own it. It's rented. So, Chairman, if you don't mind, so that we don't even create any unfair impression in the minds of Ghanaians, because I work closely with her and I know the struggle.
The person, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, is the tenant.
Yes,
she is the tenant.
Absolutely.
Okay, because that place is a dollar-rated area. So, I mean, yes, cantonment properties, you pay dollars. We know that as a fact. So, I'm happy to hear that the Vice President is able to afford a dollar, rent in cantonment. It means that we can't. We being in public service doesn't mean that we should be poor. That's fine. Anyway,
well, so, Chairman, I'm also happy to observe that the Honourable Minority Leader is aware that cantonment lands are dollar rated. So when some of his colleagues are paying 42,000 cedis for a plot of land in cantonments, he must join my crusade against state capture. So I'm very happy. I'm happy you are introducing dollars into this discussion. Very, very happy about it.
My respected colleague, not to worry, would go there gradually. We'll go there gradually. Now, the land in cantonment, you are telling us that some people have been paying 42,000, whatever you call it. Have you been able to find out from the Lands Commission whether they have a standard pricing regime for lands that they sell to the public? Have you found out?
Honorable Minority Leader, if you can expatiate your question. Standard regime how?
So, to enable one to determine whether a land is being sold at a very low price or a high price, one must pay attention to valuation. So the entity in question, whether it has set its own pricing ceiling. So you pay grounds rent, the actual lease, so, and if so, per acre or per plot. How is that determined? I just want to know from you whether as part of your work, you've been able to find out from the Lands Commission whether state lands that they sell, they have their own standard pricing for it.
What I've discovered in the course of my work is that it varies depending on the area. So cantonment varies, range varies. I'm even looking into your own acquisition in Winneba. I have the document here. It also varies. So it varies all over. I have documents from Tamale as well, which vary. So I don't think there's a standard rate. It varies depending on the place.
Honorable nominee, because you have brought me in, I'm able to find out from you about my properties in Winneba that you know. I want you to share with the public.
This specific one is a lease between you and the government of Ghana on 22nd March 2023. The name Alexander Afenyo Markin for 99 years. This is in Winneba. Yeah, so official Lands Commission document, yeah.
Honourable Member, do you say 99 years?
Yes.
Because I know as a fact that government land, the lease will not go beyond 50 years. by law.
If I can read verbatim, and this is signed by Justice A. Asanguna, Principal Lands Officer in Winneba. And the official search certificate indicates that the search applied for against the land edged red on the plan attached has been made with the following results. 1, the site is not a state land, but vested by virtue of LI 206, dated 21st November 1961. 2, the site also is covered by a lease dated 22nd March 2023 between the government of Ghana on one part and Alexander Afenyo Markin on the other part for a term of 99 years. So that is what the search certificate states.
Honorable nominee, just by way of public information, because you provided the LI, now I'll give you a background to Winneba and Gomwa. Winneba and Gomwa have had a long period of land disputes. It went all the way to the Gold Coast Supreme Court. So the entire Winneba land, Kwame Nkrumah, just to bring peace between the people of Winneba and the people of Gomwa, came up with this executive instrument. There are 2 instruments. So in Winneba, every land is vested. All the villages and the Gomwa enclave as well. So I'm happy that you read. The state. Yes. Oh, come on. But the person read, Roxanne, we are doing a serious exercise. I mean, if you guys want us to go the path of partisan politics, we would go there. No. I have been very gentle and respectful. Chairman, you need to talk to your people.
Let's have some order.
Because
Please,
when we react, then they will take offense.
I beg you, let's
if
have some order.
We have a lot of things to do. I've been calm, quiet, gentle, respectful. They've been doing, I've been keeping quiet. Please, I have patience, but not to a point that a man cannot tolerate. So, honorable nominee, I am happy that sitting there, you've gone digging me. And I'm happy that you brought it here. That Winneba, I want to provide information. Winneba and Gomwa enclave. The chiefs, their lands were all annexed. And they are vested lands. So I'm happy that you read it. And even when the Asafo companies, the Asafo own that area called Ponkwechi, that's Dentifo Asafo. And the Twafo also own the Komfo Ade Kojobedu areas. And some chiefs own their lands. But because of the Kwame Nkrumah EI, even if you buy from the chief, and the chief gives you an indenture, you can't register at Lands Commission because of that EI. So everybody in Winneba would have to go and register through a lease with the state. So I'm happy you brought it up, and then I've just explained to you. Now let us go back to your oral work. You have indicated that you are seeking to recover state lands that have been wrongly appropriated. You call it loot. Now, are you looking at all state lands that were appropriated by individuals since 1992, or you are going way down to the 80s, 70s, or you are limiting yourself to recent years? Can you share some light on your mandate? Because you are seeking to recover, which is very patriotic.
Honourable Member, I believe this will be in the mandate of
so you should share with us.
ORA. The nominee before us is being vetted for a position of a foreign minister. So, how relevant is the mandate of oral to the position that the nominee is being vetted for?
Chairman, don't start. I hold you.
We are ready. They can go ahead and call your people.
Chairman, you have the nominee himself spoke about ORA. The nominee himself stated in his CV, and I'm asking him questions about it. Then you say it is not relevant. Chairman, I'm pleading with you. I'm according you every respect. Let's have a smooth inquisition. Let's have a smooth inquisition. Honorable nominee, your work aimed at recovering state assets, lands that have been looted, etc. Which period are you looking at?
His Excellency the President has made clear that looting is looting, and it doesn't matter when it occurred. Once information emerges that it was an unconscionable transaction, we should document it. Remember that I have said that our work is with phase 1, information gathering. When we have presented our report to the President, phase 2 will kick in. That's where the Attorney General will take control, and we'll be looking at the recoveries, the actual retrievals, and if there has to be even prosecutions. Because remember that oral's work is not only about properties. We also have the financial aspect, the causing financial loss to the state. So it's a more broader concept than often it is made to look.
Now, let's leave ORA for a moment and come back to your CV. Page 1 of your CV, you provided your address, PO Box AD 45 at Ablakwa, Accra. Is the address owned by you? Is it your own postal address, or is a family postal address that you are using?
It's a family postal address.
Then you have indicated home address, number 1, Wilshire Boulevard, Airport Hills. This property at Airport Hills, how long have you been living at Airport Hills?
About 8 years.
Is it your own property?
No, I am renting. I'm a tenant.
Airport Hills is dollar rented zone. Are you aware?
Honorable Member, can we have a clarification of dollar rented? Because in Ghana, we use CD. So I don't understand a dollar rented property. Does it mean you pay the rent in dollars?
Not necessarily.
I mean...
Okay. Okay, Honorable Member. So your rent, do you pay it monthly or you pay it annually?
Well, it depends. And Chair, I don't know if you want me to share the tenancy agreement with you, even though I will have to
don't proceed.
Seek the permission of my dear wife, because we do it together.
Don't proceed. It is not in the interest of the company to be demanding for your tenancy agreement, let alone determining how much you pay as rent.
Okay. Well, I mean,
that is personal.
I like to be transparent. So
but that is personal.
But I respect your ruling, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, you see, we are in this public enterprise together. This is a nominee who, desirous of protecting the public purse, holding people accountable, is able to inquire into how people earn their salaries, especially public officers, how people acquire properties and all. I think that it is only fair. For instance, in this inquisition, at least he came as prepared as possible with my own land that I have owned for over 25 years, which is good.
And that's not only what I have, by the way.
No problem. No. Provide, honorable member. I am happy. I'm happy for you to share with the public all that you have on me. Read them aloud. No, please read them aloud. Honorable members, I want you, because you brought it up, I want you to share with the public all the properties that I have that you have uncovered, including my bank account. Share with the public. I'm happy for you to share. No, I want you to share because I want it to disclose. I am right here. No, I am right here. I am right here. I want you to disclose to the public all the properties that I own that you have.
Honorable Minority Leader, remember, I am the chair of the committee. If you ask a question that relates to that, fine. I can even overrule the question. So please, you are not allowed to mention the others unless the need arose. Proceed.
Honorable member, as part of your inquisition on me, did you discover some other properties that I own apart from what you have already mentioned? Which search result you shared? Are there others that you were able to uncover?
Is there inquisition in the first place, or you just gather information?
Don't worry, I will put it right if I should use gathered information.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I will disclose what I have at the right time. We are all following our strategy. You have a strategy, I have my strategy. So let's stick to our strategies.
So good. So, honorable nominee, as part of the information you've gathered thus far, the ones that you have gathered about me, can you disclose them to the public apart from what you have discovered?
I cannot at this point.
Honorable nominee, this property at the Airport Hills that you say you rent, and you've been renting it for 8 years, do you pay in cedis or you pay in dollars? Your rent, your tenant rent, do you pay in cedis or you pay in dollars?
In cedis. We always pay the cedi equivalent.
Do you deduct withholding tax from your rent at source? Because every rent, there's a withholding tax element. And then you give the receipts to the landlord. Do you deduct at source and pay to GRA, or you just pay your rent and it doesn't matter how the landlord goes about it?
Honorable members, this is a legal question. It's in two ways. The landlord can choose to pay the rent, and the landlord can agree with the tenant for the tenant to also pay it. And it depends the duration.
So he's opening it up for clarity. So choose the part you would want to answer.
I'm not allowing you to answer that question.
Chairman, please say so for the records. I didn't get that you have
Question overruled.
That's okay. No problem. Honorable member, on your CV, You have indicated on page 2 page 2. Are you there with me? We have former managing director, Service Solutions. Now share with us when you registered this company.
Yeah, this was in April 2018.
Are you the sole shareholder of this company, please?
Yes, I am, but it's
member,
defunct.
Honorable member, the fact that you are a managing director of a company does not suggest that you are even a shareholder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let alone being the sole shareholder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the question is overruled.
Are you a shareholder of the company?
The company is defunct, so I'm no longer working or operating this company.
Were you a shareholder of the company?
Sole shareholder.
From which year to which year did you operate this company?
It was just about a year. It was short-lived.
What was the nature of the business of the company?
So it was communications and PR firm, and because I was appointed Deputy Minister for Information, I saw that there will be potential conflict, and so I decided to wind down to avoid a conflict of interest situation.
Honorable Member, you served as a Deputy Minister of Information between 2009 to 2013. A moment ago, you said the company was registered in 2018. Please, can you bring clarity? Because you said 2018.
No, I meant 2008. Thanks for the 2008. So let the record be corrected. April 2008.
Please kindly take the leave of chair.
So, Mr. Chairman, with your leave.
2008.
2008, not 2018. Yeah, 2008.
Now, you do not own any other company, correct?
I'm a director in one company which is yet to take off. It's a farming arrangement that we are working on. I and a number of people, but it's just been registered, but we haven't fully taken off. We haven't fully started operations. And that's, if Mr. Chairman, you want me to provide the name, that's Volta Clenam Farms. We're going to go into massive cassava production. We want to produce starch from cassava. But it's still in the gestation period. We haven't taken off yet. So we've just registered a company, and we're still holding talks with potential interest parties.
So if you say you've just registered the company, you mean you've registered it as a Registrar General's Department, correct?
Absolutely.
And you are the sole shareholder, correct?
No, I'm not. There are others. I don't think I have their permission to go public with the identity.
Okay, so you agree with me that to go public with information related to people, you necessarily will need their privacy, correct?
It depends on the context and the circumstances. Yeah, it
yes,
depends.
that's. Can you?
Because these are private individuals. They are not public officials.
That's the point. So I just needed clarity. So you have drawn the distinction that if these individuals are in the public service, their consent and permission is not needed because it will be in the public interest. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if they are private individuals, putting out their names will require their consent and authorization, correct?
If they are not politically exposed. Sometimes you can have politically exposed private individuals. So that's why I say it depends on the circumstances. I mean, in these matters, you have to look at all the parameters.
What I'm saying is that, so let me rely on your words. So you're saying that if these people are politically exposed, there is no such requirement for their consent before you put out their names, if I got you right.
I have stated that it depends on the circumstances. So case by case, you make a determination.
But you are aware that per the Companies Act and then the anti-money laundering law that we passed, we amended to Act 824 something. Yes, Act 824. These individuals that you jointly own shares with in this company are politically exposed by virtue of the association with you. You'd agree with me?
Honorable member, the question is overruled. This is purely a legal question, but the statement is not correct.
Now, you say you are going into cassava production in commercial quantities. You have acquired the land already?
It will be a cooperative, so we will not acquire the land. We've discussed an interesting concept where the community owns, say, the community will contribute land. The youth will be involved. It's part of next initiatives I want to introduce as a member of parliament in Northtown. So it's all geared towards job creation and promoting agriculture amongst the youth. So that's the kind of concept we are looking at, more of a communal approach where families who own land will bring it, young people will volunteer, and then the proceeds will be shared amongst those who sign up for the cooperative program. So it's quite an interesting concept. That's what we are looking at. So we haven't bought any land at this point.
So, Honorable Foreign Minister Designate, in your constituency, do you own any property there? Like the way I own a property in my constituency, do you also own a property in your constituency?
Yes, I do.
With us, how long you've owned this property?
It's a property I use about 10 years to build. Simple 4-bedroom, 1 kitchen, no boys' quarters, no swimming pool, no tennis court. That's a simple structure. I've seen a lot of propaganda out there that I own a $3 million mansion in my constituency, largely fueled by propagandists in your party. But I don't own $3 million in Afenyo. I mean, absolutely preposterous and ridiculous. Those who attended my dad's funeral saw the property. Very simple property, built over a 10-year period. So if you want descriptions, that's what I can give you.
The land, how did you acquire the land? So, for example, in my case, I buy it from the chiefs and the Asafo, but I still would have to go and pay again at the Lands Commission because their title, their document they give, you can't register because of vested land. Do you have a similar situation in your area?
No, mine family land. So, and And because I'm member of parliament, they were very, very generous. It was largely a donation, just a little token to show appreciation. You know how people are very happy to reward people who are serving them diligently in their communities. So it was within that spirit.
So, like you're saying that it's a family land, but it was given to you.
Order.
You are saying that the land upon which you built was a gift to you from a family because of your hard work as a member of parliament?
That's not what I said. I said it belongs to a family. It's not a government land. It's owned by a family. And I'm saying that they didn't really let me pay a commercial value. I mean, I have to be grateful to them, and that's all I'm doing. So a little token, a little appreciation, really, but nothing significant.
So you have a lease to the land? You have a lease?
Not yet. Not yet.
So, as far as you are concerned, that simple property, as you've described it, in your constituency, is the only property you own, correct? Or you own some other properties?
Mr. Chairman, I think the Vice Chairman is engaging Mr. Chairman, so. Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll need your guidance on that question on the properties I own, because I've declared my assets. So if you want to get a copy of my asset declaration from the Auditor General. But Mr. Chairman, I leave it in your hands.
Referring to the Assets Declaration Act, it is for a stated reason that you file it and the envelope is not even open. So in that vein, I would disallow the question.
Okay, Chairman, so let me get clarity. So on this table, what you are saying is that the nominee is not obliged to disclose the properties that he has. I mean, just so that I'm guided. If you're saying that a nominee getting into public service, who is a public-spirited individual, who gathers information as to what people own in public life, how politicians live their lives, in this case, he's not obliged to disclose. I'm fine. That's okay.
Let's do what the law requires from us. The law requires that you file your asset declaration.
Man, I'm not talking about the law. I never went into asset declaration. I asked a very simple question. He said at the Airport Hills, based on the information here, he says that he's a tenant at Airport Hills. He's lived there as a tenant for 8 years. Then he himself disclosed that people have been making all manner of propaganda. He owns this, he owns that. However, in his constituency, just as I do, he has a simple house, and that simple house has a 4-bedroom, no boys' quarters, no swimming pool. I have a swimming pool in Winneba. In fact, I have two. My beachfront and my White House. I have 2 big swimming pools. I have them. I have a boys' quarters, yes, and I have had them for years, which is different from you. Yeah. Well, the fact. So I want to know from you whether you have other properties.
His disclosure clearly is a voluntary disclosure. But what you are seeking to do is for him to disclose his assets publicly. The law says that you declare it, they keep the envelope, they don't even open it. As to whether that is right or not, that is apparently the law.
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, I've placed on record that I am happy for the committee to engage with the Auditor General to have a copy of my asset declaration, if you so wish. I mean, I'm not opposed to that, but I can state on the record that I have never purchased a government land, if that is what is of interest to the minority leader. I've never bought a government land, if that is, or a public land or a state land, if that is where he's headed.
Well, sorry for the interruption. There's an issue we have to deal with.
Now, Honorable Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I just want us to put this matter to a peaceful rest so that we are all clear. I understand that as a requirement of law and by law, we are to make an asset declaration sealed in an envelope deposited with the Auditor General. Are you therefore saying that in view of that law, nominees that appear before us are not obliged to make a disclosure of properties that they own? If so, I will respect it. I just want clarity as to your ruling.
Yes, by imperative of that law, you cannot publicly ask anybody to publicly disclose his assets. That is why the disclosure of the access, in the wisdom of the framers of the law, is confidential.
Honorable nominee, let us deal with this combine harvester that you used your car loan to acquire for your constituents. So the use of the combine harvester, do the farmers pay for the use of it?
So the Afenyo rice farmers have a cooperative, and they make it's heavily subsidized. So they make a little contribution which they use to service the combine harvester, to buy fuel and all of that. So it's their internal arrangement for servicing and buying fuel.
So, honorable nominee, are they in the process paying back the facility?
No, they are not to pay back. information on WhatsApp.
So, my respected colleague, let's go to April 8th. You publicly demanded on Twitter that former President Akufo-Addo should submit an annual presidential staffers report. And I'm quoting you. We demand the annual report now. Unquote. However, official records show that this report had already been submitted by the presidency to Parliament on the March 25, 2024, and formally acknowledged by the Speaker's office on March 28, 2024, nearly 2 weeks before your demand. As someone who is being nominated as our chief diplomat, this office requires meticulous attention to facts and careful verification before making public statements. Can you explain, one, what steps you took to verify your information before making your demand public? That's the first one.
The Clerk of Parliament, Mr. Jethro, will confirm to you that I called him to find out if the presidential staffers list had been submitted, and he responded that it had not been submitted. And you need to recall that consistently over the 8-year period is one of the items my caucus asked me to specialize in. And consistently, I've had to, it's been really a difficult struggle to get the presidency to comply with that act. And you know that most often it is submitted after the March deadline. In April 2018, I thought that consistent with that track record, they had also missed the mark. And indeed, I did verify from the clerk at table, Mr. Jethro, before I put out that tweet.
But you subsequently became aware that indeed the presidency had submitted the such information ahead of your publication, correct?
So I saw a tweet, an X post by counsel to the president responding to my post that they had submitted it earlier. So I took steps to follow up from the Speaker's office. And I can't place on record that I have been pursuing that document since. Strangely, I haven't seen it, despite my pursuit. And it's not been laid in the House, which is really strange. I don't know what happened to that document in transit, but we don't have copies. No MP has been given a copy, which I find really strange.
The fact is that the Speaker's office confirmed receipt of the said document way ahead of your publication.
I wouldn't know that. President, Speaker communicating, writing letters to each other directly. They don't copy MPs, so I wouldn't know. I did my check, diligent check at the table office. Mr. Jethro told me it had not been submitted. And I then reminded the president that he has to comply. And if you check consistently, I've been reminding the president, and the president has not been complying with the law on this matter.
Well, for me, I believe that the recipient of said communication is the Speaker's office. And to be fair to the president and all presidents, not only Akufo-Addo, our current president, once the communication is delivered to the Speaker's office, I believe that it would only be fair that even if our initial diligence search could not reveal the delivery of search, once we become aware, it is only fair that we acknowledge same and take note. I think, in all fairness to President Akufo-Addo, he did not break the law. But if you don't want to acknowledge that fact, I wouldn't press you on that. I will just move to my next question. But the fact is that at the time you put out your information, the document has already been ferried to the Speaker's office 2 weeks earlier, and you can always verify. Let me move to the next question. In March 2021, you resigned from the appointment committee, citing personal and principled reasons. You chose to act independently rather than to align with the collective decision process of your caucus. Now, as Minister of Foreign Affairs, that is when approved, you will be required to represent and defend Ghana's collective cabinet positions, even when they might differ from your personal views. Now, how do you reconcile your past actions with this fundamental requirement of cabinet collective responsibility, and what assures this committee that you would uphold this principle if confirmed as minister?
Well, thank you very much. I am a conviction politician. I have certain principles and certain standards. And the principle of collective cabinet responsibility, inherent in that principle, is that if there's a cabinet position you don't agree with, you resign. If you stay on, then you must defend that cabinet position. So if it's a matter I feel strongly about, I'm not one who finds it difficult to walk away, to preserve my convictions and my philosophies.
Thank you. Thank you. I refer you to a publication by graphic.com.gh on 12 September 2017, where former Attorney General, Mr. Martin Amidu, documented several instances where you allegedly engaged in confrontational exchanges with senior political figures, including your interactions with him on Isophoton case. Now, let's hear from you. Did you engage the former AG with a view to facilitating the payment due Isophoton at the time?
Well, thank you very much. At the time, I was Deputy Minister for Information, and I received a petition